Hello. Apparently, in November of 2020, I couldn't be bothered to set up a camera and film the whole process of putting this theme together, so I guess we'll just have to do with a flip through and a verbal explanation. My theme for this month was Harry Potter, but I didn't want it to be just a regular Harry Potter theme. I wanted it to be more Hufflepuff and more customized to who I am. I wanted it to feel light and more just kind of like the vibes I get when watching the movies instead of focusing on characters or events that actually happen in the series. For my gratitude page, I stuck with the Hufflepuff colors and alternated between yellow and gray rather than yellow and black. And then I also drew in my wand. The whole vibe for the setup is kind of like if I ever went to Hogwarts, so I really wanted to keep it personal. For my sleep log, I kept it simple with just some sparkles and stars around as decorations because, sleep, night, it makes sense. But I also added a badger and a Cedric sticker at the top. For my habit tracker, I drew what I imagined magic to look like. I loved how the magic doodles turned out so much that I added some into my calendar page as well. But I also pasted in some photos that I printed from online, just some of those soft Hufflepuff vibes that I love. I remember in the second half of 2020, I was reading a lot, and so much so that I actually filled up the 2022 bookshelf spread that I set up at the beginning of this journal. So of course I had to doodle in a new one just to bridge the gap between November and the new year, but here's a little bookshelf and some more of the top books that I wanted to read. Finally, I love how my weeklies turned out. I remember struggling so hard to come up with an idea that could spice up my weekly spreads to not have them look too boring and simple, but I also didn't want it to be too complicated either. I think it was only after brainstorming with my mom that I finally came up with the idea of doing footprints like in the Marauders map, and it turned out perfectly. It was so cute and so easy to do, and each page felt different and unique, even though it was the same thing done over and over again. And that is the entirety of November 2020 in my bullet journal. This was only the second time that I took inspiration from some of my favorite books or movies to do a theme in my bullet journal. I loved how different it felt from trying to just be aesthetic all the time. And instead I got to be creative and play with some of my other favorite things in life. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time. Love always.